Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Evolving Goddess here, giving you another food for thought. And I want to talk to you guys about do's and don'ts before hiring a nanny. So these are some things that I realized as I was getting a nanny for my son. And, I was trying to go out, do things with my friends, go to events, network, and I wanted to have someone who I could trust. Sometimes family members are not available to watch your kids or friends or whatever it is, and you need to hire somebody. So I want to go over some tips. Number one, go to reputable sites that have background checks. That was number one. I went on care.com and I'm very happy that, it will let you know who has done a background check. It also lets you get see reviews of what other family members thought about the person. So I thought that was really key in knowing the things, knowing a little bit about them and their work ethic. Also, another one is don't make them your friend. I'm a very people person. I smile, I laugh with people, I relate to people a lot, and kind of make people feel like they could talk to me about anything. And sometimes even having a babysitter or a nanny or somebody close with you who is with you weekly, you start to get familiar with the person. You start to, sometimes they may see you cry and they're like, what's the matter? And then you're like, what happened is it. Don't do that. Keep it professional. Find friends, find a counselor, find someone to talk to about those serious things. Do not vent to your nannies, because a lot of times what you say will end up being used against you. I made this much money and blah blah blah, and then they're like, I want a raise now. You didn't trap yourself. Why you do that? 2 is to be organized. It is very important to have a schedule, a routine in place, things that you want the nanny to do so that you know that you're getting your money's worth. A lot of times you may have a nanny come in and you're like, okay, take him to school and do this and do that. And they're doing it the way they want to do it. So have a way, he wakes up in the morning, he prays to God. I want you to stay there and listen to him when he's praying to God and make sure he's saying it loudly. And then he has a morning routine that he follows, brush your teeth, wash your face, just make sure he's following it. And, have a routine for them to follow, because if you don't have one, they will make up their own. And then you may be like, why are you doing this? Well, the nanny does it like this. Then later you have to correct her when you should have just had a structured way of how you want them to take care of your kid, so they stay in line and it's exactly what you want. You get your money's worth. 3, have a set of rules and stick to it. Ooh, this is something that I was just like, no TV for the week. Wednesday, he's watching TV. You got to help yourself, Tina. You got to take care of you. I was looking at myself like, you the problem. You're the problem. Then you're wondering why he having tantrums. What was the rules? Stick to the rules, because the nanny's going to be like, it's okay, let him watch TV today. Okay, but I thought you have rules posted all over the house, time to type it and everything. Don't even follow your own rules. So stick to your rules. It helps order to be in the house. Kids thrive off of structure, and it helps you and your nanny to be organized and to know what they're getting into. It's just is best for everybody. 4 is to have a safe place for your kids to be able to talk to you before you get a nanny. A lot of times parents don't have that good relationship with their kids. They may yell a lot. They may not have created that safe place for the kid to feel like they could talk to you. I don't like the way that person touches me, or that person gives me a hug too long, or that person, when I'm in the bathroom, they always open the door after I even though when they knock, I tell them I'm in here and they'll just stare at me. Be mindful of those things. That's how molestation starts. That's how people get raped. You have to be mindful of things that your kid is telling you, like, I don't like that nanny, and not just be like, you don't ever like them, and just because you and the nanny have a great conversation and clash, well, you totally rule out what your kid is saying. Listen to what they're saying, because they're saying something important, and it may help you to avoid possible problems in the future. Listen to your kids, create a safe space. You can always tell me stuff. Have like a code word. I had that with my kid. Have a code word that whenever he's with anybody, family, friends, whatever, if he says this sentence, if he says this word, if he says, Mom, Bob, there's a lot of birds outside, it means I don't feel safe with this person. Can you come get me? The person might be like, there's not a lot of birds outside, but they don't know that that's you and the kid's code word. Have things like that. Have safe places for your kid to be able to come to you and you actually act on it. Okay, we are our kids' first line of defense for safety. Be mindful of that. 5, handle school issues yourself, and don't be sending the nanny to the school to handle your parenting situations. Sometimes nannies would overstep their boundaries and be like, I told that teacher that he needs to be, and I'll just be like, why you do that? Now you're gonna make the parent, the teacher hate the child because you went and told the principal on the teacher and told her supervisor, don't do that. I'm the parent. Let me Let me handle that. So handle your school issues and be the parent in charge. 6, even though you have cameras, don't just leave your cameras there. Frequently check your cameras. Sometimes go on your cameras, talk through your cameras to let the nannies know the cameras are live in action. Okay, mess around. Okay, get your whole head chopped off. No, but really, keep your cameras on, because if anything happened, there has been situations where things will happen. They're like, they snatched something from me fast or something like that, and I'll be looking at the nanny sideways like, you trying to be aggressive? Not being reach. You trying to be aggressive? And I had to go back and look at the camera and be like, no, actually you were being aggressive, and you maybe hit the nanny trying to be playful, and it actually hurt the nanny, and you do that a lot, and the nanny's just not going to let you slap their head all the time. Okay, respect your elders. So have cameras to be a second line of defense when you want to figure out something, a situation that happened, and be able to catch something if something were to happen, and have evidence, and have actual cameras. Don't just have dummy cameras, okay? Because sometimes they'll be like, okay, don't you see me in the camera? Oh, this shirt. And I'll just be like, see, if my cameras weren't working, I would have been like, just take a picture of it. And then they would automatically know the cameras really don't work. And then that's when they start being funny. That's when they start going to your stuff. Things get stolen. 8 is, it's important that when the nanny sends you a picture of their ID and stuff, that you have someone actually follow the nanny as they leave your house one day, and actually see if they go to that residence or if they go to another residence, and just have an actual address of the real address of where they live. Sometimes they may have an old ID that has an old address, or it may be a fake ID, you never know, or whatever it is. It's just good to know the house in case something happens to your kid. There has been situations where the nanny ended up taking my kid to their house and like, oh, I just needed to grab something real quick, and I'm like, no, that's one of the rules that I said on the interview. Do not take my kid anywhere without my permission. Even if you forgot something at home, call me before you take my kid to your house, because things can happen at people's house. There's no cameras there, and you just never know. Have a nanny handbook. When I was doing the interview with the nannies, I would say, hey, these are the do's and don'ts. Don't do this, you get fired without getting paid. Yeah, mess around, find out. And I also had things of, please, when my kid ever leaves the house, make sure there's no boogers in his nose. Make sure he's matching. Make sure his hair is brushed. Make sure he's not ashy. Please represent my kid well as he's going out, and I'm not there at practice. I'm not there at things. Be mindful of the things that I want. Have his sports bag that has his band-aids and lotion in case he's dry. Stuff like that. Don't be strict and mean in front of your kids to the nanny, or be disciplining them aggressively in front of the nanny, because that's how they're going to treat your kid. And that goes for anybody. If you're sitting there, shut up, you're always lying and stuff, that's how the nanny's gonna act. Soon the nanny's gonna be like, be quiet. Yeah, you're always doing that. And then you'll be like, why are you aggressive with my kid? And it's like, that's how you act. What do you want? However you're going to act towards your kid, that's what they're going to know is acceptable. But if you're like gentle with your kids, and when you do discipline them, you discipline them maybe when they're not there, or, you find healthy ways to discipline your kid, then you create a healthy environment to where not only are you being kind to your kid and respecting your kids and enforcing, but your nannies are in a healthy manner, and they're not abusive or saying, your child's a liar, he lies all the time, or saying certain things that is going to trigger the kid or make his identity to be that he's a liar or something, or she's a liar, or doing this or that. Know their health status, and always have your nannies protect themselves, your kids, from them by wearing gloves. I have a thing in my house where whenever anybody's cooking food for my kid, they should just wear gloves. I just go to Walmart, get gloves, and I have them wear gloves. It's really, as a nurse, I realize, and I know that we have a lot of pores, and pores secrete a lot of juices out of our body, juices that have bacteria, that have whatever illnesses the person has in it. So it's simple things like their hands are sweaty. They may have sweaty hands when they're making food. They already gave whatever they have to the kid. So be mindful of that, to just make sure they're cleaning their hands, and they're also putting on gloves. There's bacteria in nails. Some people wipe their butt after going number 2. They don't clean well. Your kid ends up having very big sickness. Hand gloves at all times. And know what their health status is. Is there anything I should know about you? I may have sickle cell or whatever, and that may be times where I may be sick, and it helps you to know whether they're also reliable, and just to know what you're getting into. Last but not least, have 2 to 3 nannies, or have 2 to 3 people that you have watching your kid. Kind of spread it out, because sometimes when you rely on just one person, position, it's a lot, and they end up having life happens, and they're not able to really watch your kid as well or as much as you want them to. And then now you're like, could you watch today? Oh, actually I have a life, I have things I'm doing with my family. And then now you're not able to go places. So have 2 to 3 nannies and spread it out. Maybe one nanny does Monday through Wednesday, the other nanny does Thursday through Friday. If it's 2 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours a day, whatever it is, separate them so that you're able, and have 2 so that you're able to kind of use either one. If one is unavailable, the other one usually is going to be available. 2 more things. Pay people on time. It is really important. There was times where life was lifing and my finances were all over the place, and I'll be like, okay, I'll pay you next week. And 1 week went into 2 weeks, and then I may be all over the place in my mind, and I paid them less than they're supposed to, and they were just like, I'm out of here. So that is the quickest way to have a turnover rate, is to have nannies and not be paying them on time. People need to pay their bills. Nannies really rely on this job. They're usually free most of the day for whatever random stuff. Can you pick the child up from school? So they pretty much have free schedules a lot of time, or they're running in between a job to come to you. So they really do need their money, just like we need our money for our job. So pay people on time. It's a business. I come and take care of your kid and give you good service by taking care of your kid, and you pay me on time. It's a business transaction. Be on it and pay people on time. It avoids people leaving you and you having to get new nannies, especially when they're good nannies. Lastly is to make sure that you are checking in with your nannies. Hey, is there anything that my child is doing that's making your job harder? Is there anything I can do to help you out? And I would check in with my nannies from time to time. Sometimes I'll ask them, how's family going? How are you doing? What's going on with you? Sometimes I'll just send a message saying, I appreciate you so much. I just want to let you know, Jennifer, that you are an amazing nanny, and my kid loves you so much, and I love you a lot, and I just want to thank you so much. I want to send an extra $50 bonus to you, just to say thank you so much, because they really are making my life easy. They help me to be able to go out with my friends. They help me to be able to have structure in my house. They help for me to be able to get my kid to school and for him not to fail school. So show appreciation to your nannies, and don't just always be calling them last minute. Oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And then you don't give them any bonus. You don't give them any praise. You don't give them any incentive to keep being good to you and to keep being good to your kid. So it makes a very low turnover rate, and it helps your nannies to stay with you for long term. So yeah, once again, these are just some tips that I learned as I went through a couple of turnover rates with nannies, from not paying on time. Just literally all these things are different things that I did throughout my journey of having nannies that made me to have a turnover rate with nannies. And so I said, let me just have a video that will help people that are thinking about getting a nanny, a babysitter for their kid, things that they should be mindful of as they're hiring a nanny to help them to have success. Because after I fix all these things, I have nannies that have been with me for years, 2 years, and they are so kind and they are so grateful that I appreciate them, and they have made my life so much easier and allowed me to think, to create business, to do things, and to have love lives, to really just be able to have my life again. And I really appreciate it. And so I hope this message blessed you. If it did, definitely subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more great videos coming. Alrighty, have a great day. Peace.